When I was 20 years old, I was living with my ex-boyfriend, and that relationship was nothing short of a disaster. Like, literally, it was a trauma bond from hell. I hated myself at the time, so I definitely hated him. I also hated my family, which is why I was living with said ex-boyfriend. That relationship really woke me up to a lot of my demons I was carrying inside, because he was literally a reflection of myself. And looking at him, and I had just started to learn about limiting beliefs and like what all of that mean, like how my mind was like directly related to my reality. Thanks to Jen Scenario's book, You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. So because of that book, I started to understand the relationship between my thinking and my reality. And I could tell that I was the problem, but I just did not know how to go about shifting things, because like I care deeply for my boyfriend at the time and I love my family, but for some reason I just could not see myself as the victim. Like, I was the victim. So one day on a random Tuesday night in our one bedroom apartment, I was drinking a whole bottle of wine at this point. I was drunk as fuck. I had cried all the tears that I had in me. And I decided that I needed to change something. Working on my limiting beliefs was not cutting it. Reading, watching, and listening to motivational videos and spiritual videos all day wasn't cutting it. Trying to change everybody but myself, baby, that was not cutting it. Nothing was like, nothing was cutting it. And one thing that I hadn't really gave an earnest try to was meditation. So I needed a solution. And in that moment, meditation, it was like intuitive. I intuitively knew that meditation was my solution. So I opened up the App Store, downloaded Headspace. That was like the first app that truly helped me to meditate consistently, right? Because I had already had practice with meditation before this, but I was not consistent in it at all. So anyways, I turned on Headspace and I started to meditate. And when I opened my eyes, once he says, open your eyes, whatever was due, he was guiding it. I felt the same. I still felt that sense of doom, gloom, misfortune, like nothing was getting better. But something in me said, just keep showing up, Tay. And that's what I did. I kept showing up. And before you knew it, I didn't care about the benefits that came with meditation. I just genuinely enjoyed the art of meditating, the art of being aware of my thoughts and seeing the space between myself and my thinking. Like, that shit was the coolest thing to me, because I was always so caught up with my thoughts, right? And I still have a tendency to do that if I'm not careful, if I'm not prioritizing presence over everything else. Like, it's very easy for me to get caught up in my thinking and believing that like I am my thoughts. But like, for the first time in my life, I knew that I wasn't my thoughts. And from there, my self-concept just started to shift, right? I started to have all of this confidence. My relationship started to improve. Like, everything was turning out right for the first time in a long time. So that's why I want to talk about how presence is so important when it comes to shifting your self-concept. If you just try to go right into shifting your beliefs, it'll work, but unfortunately it won't stick. Because when you are so identified with the separate self, you'll have a tendency to lose yourself in that. And because we live in a world of impermanence, things are always changing. So if you create a new identity and this identity eventually suffers, because it will at some point, right? Some type of misfortune will happen, and you're just too identified with that, you can go down pretty bad. So it's important to just have awareness. The only thing standing between you and all of your desires is your conception of yourself. And your conception of yourself has everything to do with your self-talk. But your self-talk isn't entirely your fault. From the ages of 0 to 7, you were being programmed subconsciously through everything that you were taking in, right? And you didn't have a mental defense at that point. You weren't conscious enough to choose like which information was in alignment with who you wanted to be, because you didn't even know who you were. You were just awareness, and you eventually started to adapt an identity, and your identity was largely around beliefs that you had about yourself and about how the world worked. And these beliefs came from your parents, or the people that raised you, your environment, the media. And if you heard these beliefs enough time and then you associated these beliefs with yourself, you started to take these as who you are and also about how the world works. And this in turn shaped your whole entire experience, and it also created your thoughts, right? Your self-talk. Self-talk is everything when it comes to your self-concept. Like literally everything has to do with your self-talk. Like what are those thoughts saying? What are they saying? What are they saying? Because whatever they're saying, that's your concept. Like that's how you feel about yourself on a deep level. And like some people, they try to mask it and say, "Oh, I'm this confident person." They try to show that to the world. But the reason why people like me can see through the bullshit is because once you become aware of your own thinking, you get really good at mind reading. Not even on purpose. Like you're not trying to mind read, but just have a certain level of self awareness where you understand. How people talk to themselves based on how they move, how they act, what they say, what they ask. You start to really see into people's mind conversations, even if they try to portray this self-confident image. Been there, done that. I can see right through you, boo. The main way that we are taught to change our self-concept in the manifestation community is to do affirmations and whatever. And like that's absolutely important, right? We need to introduce these new thoughts into our minds in order to have a new way of thinking. However, without a significant amount of presence, it's futile. It's futile, and I'm going to go into why now. So how can you create behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs that are in alignment with your ideal self? The power of awareness, the power of presence, the power of now. Shout out to Eckhart Tolle. I used to despise my image in a mirror. I used to wash my hands and I would not look up, right? Every time I would go to the bathroom, I would avoid a mirror like a plague, like the plague. I would literally not want to look at myself. I hated my reflection. Eventually, through working with the power of presence, not even through affirmations and telling myself that I'm good enough, that shit didn't work. What worked was learning how to be still and just observe. And through that simple action, it started to take care of itself. And I started to have so much confidence. I started to be able to say the affirmations and believe them. Um, everything started shifting. Anytime that I prioritize presence over anything in my life, I start to experience these radical like quantum shifts, quantum leaps. And then I know when I'm lying to myself, right? I know when I say I'm prioritizing presence, but I'm really just mindfully distracting myself. Oh, I'm being present. I'm watching stuff about being present. That's being present, right? No, bitch. You're avoiding your thoughts, which is why you cannot sit in silence. The reason why presence is so impactful is because when you allow a certain amount of presence into your life, you stop identifying with certain thought processes because you become aware that you are not the thinker. You are not producing these thoughts. They are happening on their own. When you have a certain level of awareness, you can see the firing of the thoughts. You can see it, and you can see how spontaneous it all is. It all is. Like you're not doing it. It's happening. There's something that's witnessing it happen. You're that, right? And the more you just observe, the more that space opens up between you and the thoughts. And the more space there is, the more you can like stop clinging on to every thought that comes up. And when you stop clinging on to all of these thoughts, which are not even your own, you can just choose to think other things in a very harmonious way, in a way that doesn't hurt, that doesn't feel like work. It takes work, but it's not going to feel like work. By letting go of your mental conditioning and just watching your thoughts, you create this space, this void, and you become like you were when you were a kid, just this blank canvas. And instead of allowing the world to program you, you start to program yourself. And this is when affirmations really work, right? This is when, you could tell yourself anything and you will truly believe it if it's in alignment with your higher self, your ideal self, who you truly want to be. And by placing importance on mindfulness, I found self-help books to be more effective. I found teachings to have greater impacts. I started to study all type of religions and before I was like so anti-God and anti-religion. And like once I started to like really prioritize presence and other experiences, I really started to open myself up to all teachings, not just one specific teaching. I opened myself up to being wrong, which I still have issues with. But the more present I am, the more open I am that like I'm wrong, and that's okay because it allows me to expand and shift my awareness and then have a new perspective about life, which is fucking dope. When you start to see the effects of constantly shifting your perspective based on like getting these new ideas and new beliefs, you welcome being wrong because you know that by being wrong it's going to strip your reality structure. So now you get to experience reality in a different way, even if it's uncomfortable. It's cool. It's the unknown. It's mysterious. But I don't know if everybody's into that. How can you make presence a huge part of your life? One, get a spiritual discipline. Whether it's prayer, meditation, exercise, running, jogging. That's all exercise. Y'all could tell exercise is like a huge part of my life. Writing, journaling, meditation. Get a spiritual discipline. Stick to it every single day. And you'll start to see the effects of just being present. Just, bruh. Prioritize silence over noise. Don't fill in every single gap of your life with noise. I am a chronic gap filler. What does that mean? I don't like to sit in silence. No matter what I'm doing, there's something in the background playing, whether I'm taking a shower or I'm washing dishes or I'm eating or I'm just go walking to go put my clothes in the washing machine. I gotta have something on. When I start to prioritize silence over everything, again, quantum leaps, right? There's so many ways to have quantum leaps, but when you know your ways, like I know my ways, is presence. Every single time I prioritize presence over everything, I have these huge quantum leaps in my life. So if you want to experience radical, fast shifts in your life, prioritize silence over noise. Pay attention to your thoughts and your emotions. Again, that pretty much goes with just prioritizing presence, because when you prioritize presence, you're really going to be able to look at your thoughts, monitor your thoughts and your feelings, and you're going to be able to take a step back and see the difference between you and your thoughts, right? And that when you can just watch them without judgment, without feeling like these thoughts shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be feeling this way, you allow them to just pass. So focusing on the present moment is crucial to transforming your self-concept, and your old mental patterns, they will stop playing out when you stop engaging with them, when you just stop giving them energy, when you just observe them. Eventually, because they're not getting all of your psychic and mental energy, they'll go away. And then because your thoughts are not there to harm you or help you or anything, they're just there. um and the how you're choosing your thoughts has a lot to do with your survival. So the energy within you wants to choose thoughts that's going to promote your survival, but there's something within you that's aware enough and it has the will to disengage your energy. And when you disengage your energy, the energy wants to survive. It's going to start grasping at other thoughts. And what you can do is you can start to implement thoughts that are going to be in alignment with the reality that you want to live. And then you can have the energy start to grasp at those thoughts. And then eventually, over repetition and time, it takes time, guys. It takes time, especially to solidify these ideas and beliefs. You're going to need time. Unfortunately, I know we don't want to hear that. I know we want things to happen overnight. And like, it has the potential to, if you prioritize presence over everything, which again, even prioritizing presence takes work. But once you prioritize presence over everything, that's when quantum shifts happen. So by letting go of your need to control your thinking, by being present and um, just watching your thoughts, you'll have so much more energy, like I said, to focus on what you want to focus on. And you'll find that your self concept is one that you couldn't even imagine 6 months ago. And things will start manifesting for you faster, quicker, the same thing, but in a way that you couldn't even imagine. And it's going to be so in alignment with who you are, and you're going to love it. So, yeah, that's that. I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys add me on everything at Beyond Taylor. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys are looking for a community to help you support your goals and your dreams, make sure you join my Discord group. It's linked down below. And also, I post a sometimes weekly newsletter where I write and talk about things like this and a whole bunch of things. A lot of spirituality, non duality, conscious manifestation. That's my jam. I love you guys, and I will see you at the next video. Y'all mean so much to me. Thank you.